1,500 miles of open ocean lie between this island and the nearest human being. There's no airport, no runway, no way off it except a single ship that comes just a few times a year. No roads lead anywhere but back to the same small village. And, directly behind the houses stands a volcano that is still alive. Around 240 people live here, and almost all of them share just 7 surnames. By every measure that exists, this is the most remote inhabited place on Earth. This is really the last door at the far edge of the map. Now, here's the part that changes everything. The people who live here do not lock their own. There's no traffic, no crime, nobody to fear. They call this the safest, calmest place in the world. So, what is it actually like to live at the end of everything, in the one place with no way out? This is real-life Tristan da Cunha. You gotta start with the distance, because nothing here makes sense until you really feel it. The nearest inhabited land is a tiny island called St. Helena, about 1,500 miles away across empty water. Cape Town, the closest city, lies roughly 1,750 miles to the east. South America is more than 2,000 miles the other way. Pull up a map of the South Atlantic and you'll find just one lonely dot with nothing around it. That dot is Tristan da Cunha. There is no airport, there is no runway. And honestly, there's a hard reason there never will be, which we'll get to. The only way in or out is by sea. A supply ship leaves Cape Town, takes about 6 days to reach the island, and makes that crossing only 8 or 9 times a year. You don't book a flight. You apply to the island's council for permission to come, then wait for a boat. About 240 people live on this rock in the most isolated permanent settlement on the planet. A place with a name out of an old sailor's tale, Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. And, one detail says everything. The hardest inhabited place on Earth to reach still has its own postal code. It's just a single code for the whole island, so people at the end of the world can, order online and wait for the sea to deliver it. Hold one thought as we go. If you fell seriously ill here tonight, the nearest way out would be a week of open ocean away. No flight to the mainland, only the horizon and the wait. That single fact quietly shapes every life here. This spot is 1,500 miles from anywhere. So, where in the world are you watching from? Drop your city or country below. We would like to know how far you are from this place. So why not just build a runway and end the isolation? Look at the shape of the island. Tristan da Cunha is not an island with a mountain on it. It is a mountain, a single volcanic cone rising straight out of the deep Atlantic. At its summit stands Queen Mary's Peak, about 6,760 feet high, capped with snow in winter. The sides fall away in steep cliffs almost the whole way around. There is only one place flat enough to hold a village, a narrow shelf of land on the northwest coast where every single house sits. Everywhere else, the land pitches up too sharply to build, to farm, or even to walk in a straight line. There is no ring road around the island because, well, there is just no room for one. The mountain decides where people can live, and honestly, it has only ever said yes to one small strip. Then there is what the island does not have. Trees. Almost none grow here. The wind pours off the southern ocean with no land mass to slow it and strips young trees before they can rise. The island has just one native tree species, and even that is now threatened by an insect carried in from outside. For most of their history, the people here had almost no timber, no wood to build with, no wood to burn. On the most remote island on Earth, even a plank was something the sea had to bring you. This same volcano would one day turn on the people living beneath it and force every last one of them to flee. What they chose to do next stunned the world. We put real work into carrying you out to the edge of the world. If it is worth something to you, tap the hype button. It takes a few seconds and it helps this island reach more people. On that one flat shelf of land live around 240 people, and almost all answer to just 7 surnames: Glass, Green, Pagan, Lavaraloo, Repetto, Rogers, and Swain. Every one of those families traces back to a small group of settlers who arrived in 1816 from Scotland, England, the Netherlands, the United States, and Italy. The whole community grew from roughly 8 men and 7 women who chose to make a home on a volcano in the middle of nowhere. Because that founding group was so small, the island became one of the most closely studied, isolated populations in the world. Its family tree has been recorded in detail since 1816. And that small beginning, well, it left a mark you can actually measure in the body. With a limited gene pool and near total isolation, the islanders share more than just a surname. Whenever a ship arrives, so can illness. They've long been prone to waves of the same respiratory bug. The locals call it the Tristan cold, and it sweeps through after a boat comes in. The clearest example is in their lungs. Researchers found a strikingly high share of islanders show signs of asthma. More than half carry some trait of it, and close to a quarter have a clear diagnosis. It's not a mystery, and it's definitely not a judgment. It's just simple genetics. When a whole population descends from a handful of people, whatever those first families carried in their DNA gets passed down to nearly everyone. This is what deep isolation looks like, written right into human blood. And honestly, it means something gentle too. When they say everyone here is family, it's not just a warm figure of speech. It's actually pretty close to the plain truth. The person behind the shop counter, the man steering the boat, the child in the school, somewhere along that line, they're all relations. Being one big family shapes everything here. It even decides who is allowed to own the ground beneath their feet. Here you cannot buy your way to the top because the ground itself was built to stop you. In 1816, the first settler, a Scot named William Glass, wrote down a simple agreement. Everything would be shared equally. No one would rank above anyone else. More than 200 years later, that rule still holds. All the farmland is owned in common, and only a resident of the island can own land at all. An outsider cannot buy in, cannot move in, cannot quietly take over. The island is not for sale. They went further than shared land, so no single family could grow rich over the rest. They capped the livestock. The number of breeding cows each household may keep was trimmed over the years from 4 to 3 to 2, and since 2019 to a single cow per family. The point was never control for its own sake. It was to keep 240 people equal on a patch of land too small to survive any other way. You can see that equality growing in the ground. Just outside the village lie the potato patches, small plots framed by low stone walls against the wind, each family tending its own. Potatoes have been the backbone of life here for generations. It is one of the rare places writers have called a utopia that actually worked. Not a dream on paper, but a plain functioning version of it that is held together in near total peace for 2 centuries. It might sound like a place with no money at all. A community that shares its land, caps its wealth, and grows its own food at the bottom of the world. But that is not quite true. And how these people actually earn a living is stranger than you would guess. So what does an ordinary day here look like? So you start with the shop because, well, there is exactly one. A single store serves the whole island, and its shelves kind of rise and fall with the ships. When a supply vessel comes in, the stock gets refilled, and a lot of it is brought up all the way from South Africa. But when something runs out, you just wait, sometimes for weeks, until the next boat arrives, whether it's medicine or sweets. If it didn't grow in the island soil or come out of its sea, it crossed the ocean to get here. That's why so much of life here really revolves around what the island can feed itself. The Tristan potato, grown in rich volcanic ground at the potato patches, is honestly the heart of the diet. There's almost no native fruit, so homegrown vegetables and, of course, the sea do the rest. Meals here lean on the ocean and the earth. Crawfish, the prized Tristan rock lobster, gets pulled straight from the water. Fish is grilled or slow-cooked into stews, and there are old island dishes like fish cakes and this dense potato pudding. One islander, Don Repetto, even gathered the community's recipes into a book, just so a way of cooking found nowhere else wouldn't be lost. When the work is done, life gathers in a few shared places. There is the Albatross Bar, the island's only pub, where news travels and the community comes together. There is the church, the school, the packing factory. Almost everyone does several jobs, and the whole calendar bends around the fishing season and the arrival of the ship. It is a small world tightly woven where a single building can be the entire town's living room. There is one more thing this village is supposed to be missing. This is the law. You will see this island described online as a lawless place. No rules, no government, no police. It makes for a good title. It is also wrong, and the people who live here are quick to correct it. Tristan da Cunha is a British overseas territory with its own constitution, a British-appointed administrator, and an island council the residents elect themselves. There is law and government here. It just runs at the scale of a village. What it does not have is crime. For long stretches, the island has kept just a single police officer whose days are filled more with customs paperwork than with policing. In one stretch of more than 20 years, from the late 1980s into the 2000s, there was not a single arrest. People do not lock their doors. The fear that hums under life in most cities does not exist here, and the reason is the very thing that sounds like a punishment. There is nowhere to run. Everyone knows everyone, and there is no crowd to vanish into and no border to slip across. The isolation that traps them is exactly what keeps them safe. The most cut-off place on the map turned out to be one of the most secure, and they secured it by having no way out, no locks, no crime, no exit. So, take everything you have seen. If someone offered you $1 million to live here for one full year, no roads out, one shop, one ship, would you take it? Sit with that. Then tell us honestly in the comments, because there is no crime here. And despite that title, no shortage of money either. Here's how 240 people really make a living. The money comes from the water, and it comes with claws. The backbone of the entire island economy is a single creature, the Tristan rock lobster, known locally as crawfish. This one fishery brings in around 4 out of every $5 the territory earns, and it has done so since the industry began in 1949. A community with no way out found its wealth by looking down into the cold Atlantic beneath its boats. Catching it pulls in the whole island. A small fleet of powered dinghies goes out whenever the sea allows. When the factory runs, almost everyone drops what they are doing to pack lobster. The electrician, the shopkeeper, the retiree, the office worker, all on the line together. When the catch comes in, the town becomes one workforce, and the world is happy to pay for it. The fishery has been certified as sustainably managed since 2011.